Hey guys, I decided to do a video of driving in the snow, and this is Boise, Idaho, and we're getting close to, I don't know, 10 inches in 24 hours. It's pretty ridiculous. This is really an anomaly when it comes to snow driving. So anyways, let's get right to it. Driving in the snow, first and foremost, make sure all the snow is off your car, even the top of your car. Okay, because you don't want to hit the brakes and have all the snow come right down on your windshield, and then you're rushing to hit your windshield wipers. Make sure you got plenty of windshield wiper spray. Use it quite often. It'll help melt the snow on your windshield wipers, and that way there's no streaks or anything. So, and make sure your headlights are fully on so that people can see you better. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and head on out. Now let's say you get stuck. A lot of times you get stuck when you really turn the wheel like that. See? Not moving, right? Okay. Put it in reverse, rock back. Let the car go back on its own just a little bit. It'll sometimes go up on a little bit of a hump. Bring it back down to drive, and then let it go, and then right when it goes down, give it a little gas. And then just keep steady pressure. Keep the steady pressure. Keep a little bit of momentum, but not enough to totally lose control. Okay. Okay. Clear this off a little bit more. Okay. So, imagine this is a regular road and you're pulling out. You got to be able to see really good left and to the right. You cannot pull out like normal. It might take you 10 times longer because of traction for you to pull out. And if you pull out like normal and somebody's coming from an opposite way, then they not only will the traction hurt you because you can't get up and go, but the traction will hurt them because they can't stop. So the combination of your bad traction and their bad traction, boom, you just got hit. And it's a bad hit, especially from the left, because you're getting hit broadside right here. So anyways, so when you are getting ready to pull out onto a regular road, what I like to do is I like to be back a little bit. Okay, go ahead and just walk right in front of me. So I like to be back a little bit so I have a little bit of a head start, so I have a little bit of momentum pulling. So basically I pull out onto the road a lot quicker, a lot faster, rather than be a dead stop. So it's a little bit different than normal, where you want to be out kind of far so it's short and quick, but here you might need some momentum. Again, it's really imperative that you have lots of good visibility down the road. If you don't have that visibility down the road, then you can't start further back to build that momentum and that speed. So always pay attention when you're going to be exiting a parking lot or anywhere and you're pulling out onto a road. Pick the exit or entrance onto the road where you have the maximum visibility, so you can be back a little bit. And the guy in back of you may not know what you're doing, so what? Just keep it up. Okay, so here's a little bit of momentum, picking it up. Okay, keep the momentum going. Got a shovel, got survival gear, cell phones. Now this stop, I'm not going to come to a full stop. I don't care about the law. If I come to a full stop, I may not be able to get back and up and get moving. And remember, this is just a neighborhood. So essentially there, I just broke the law, but it's better than being stuck and getting rear-ended and embarrassment and all that other stuff. So that's just what you have to do. Here's a guy coming. He's got some good speed. He's gonna have to get over. I can't get over very far. Okay. Got to keep up. Gentle pressure. See, he didn't have good traction. He doesn't have snow tires. I have studded winter snow tires, and I'm still struggling like this. So, okay, traffic seems to be moving okay. It's getting to be rush hour, people leaving and going west. I'm going to go east. I got to make sure it's absolutely clear. Normal conditions, I could have gone there. As you'll see in a few seconds, a red car is going to go by. And normal conditions, that would be fine, but I can't do that now. Okay? Because if these people are being tailgated, then you could have a 6-car pileup. Now, I got some time here. Now, basically, when I pull out, it's kind of like pulling out like normal, where you got to think to yourself, well, if I pull out slowly, for some reason I have to pull out slowly. Like, let's say I do a right turn and somebody's walking across the street and I don't see him and I got to pull out and then go slowly. Is somebody coming going to have time to see me and start slowing down? Just like doing a U-turn. If you start to do a U-turn and you screw it up, the main thing is, well, if I have to then do a 3-point turn, is somebody going to be coming and be able to see me in time to start slowing down so they don't hit me? So whenever I pull out, no matter what driving condition, I always like to say to myself, ask myself, can that person slow down in time? Will they be able to see me and slow down? And it's a total judgment call, and I don't assume much from other drivers. I assume all drivers are distracted and in a hurry. So that is an absolute, total judgment call there. Checking left, nobody on my left. I can go nice and wide. And of course, you want to always have great following distance. If you practice having lots of nice following distance, nice following distance, then you won't have to make very big adjustments when it comes to wintertime travel. You won't have roads like this. You won't have to keep telling yourself, oh, I need more space, I need more space, I need more space. You'll just always have that space. This space I have right here with this red car in front of me is what I normally have under normal driving conditions. So to me, it's not really that big of a deal to do that. Okay, I set up my other camera here. I don't trust these other drivers. If I get hit, I want to be able to sue somebody very quickly. Sounds bad, but that's just the way it goes. People have a lot of trust in their vehicles. This is practically ice that we're on, which means all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive vehicles doesn't really do a whole lot. The only thing that really helps in this situation is the studded snow tires. Okay, now, as usual, approaching a green light, I check in back of me for tailgaters. But even if I don't have a tailgater, I might want to run a red light on purpose. Just barely running a red light. And that's simply because if I hit the brakes real hard, I might just slide into the intersection anyways. So, trust me, no cop is going to go after you. Now, knowing that you might on purpose run red lights because you can't stop in time, you have to understand that when your light turns green and you're pulling out, when your light turns green and you're pulling out, you've got to understand that many people might be still coming through the intersection. So again, 1 to 2 second hesitation, normal conditions, you might want to extend that to 2, 3, maybe 4 second hesitation with wintertime driving conditions. And you got to be a little selfish. Don't be afraid to there's 3 lanes here, people, come on. And don't be afraid to drive in a certain way that is going to make you more safe. So we don't want come on, red car, you know your lane's ending unless he wants to be over there. There you go. So just remember, everything takes more time to speed up, more time to slow down, more distance to speed up, more distance to slow down. Time and distance are very, very similar in driving. This red car doesn't even know what lane he's in. Okay. And you'll get that a lot. There was 3 cars, 1, 2, 3, and all 3 of them went straight, but the ones on the far left were actually in a left turn lane and just didn't even really know it, so they went straight. They never stopped to look to the right and say, there's 2 cars to my right, and I'm pretty sure there's not 3 lanes that go straight, so there was almost accidents where cars were going into each other. So you got to be aware of that. Be ready with the horn, because a lot of times you can't swerve. If you jerk the wheel to the left or right, you're just going to go straight anyways. So you got to be ready to hit that horn. And you don't really want to drive where the other cars are driving. You want to be off just a little bit. You want to be on fresh snow. Now it's snowing enough to where it's almost all going to be fairly fresh snow. You don't want to drive in hard compacted snow. It's almost like ice. You want the fresh stuff for the maximum traction. Big treads, winter snow tires where a lot of snow can go up into the grooves of the tire, and then the tire can use that snow as a way of gaining that extra traction. The weight of the vehicles also very important. Lightweight vehicles tend to not do very good. The only problem with heavy vehicles is if you get stuck, you're pretty much stuck. Lightweight vehicles, you can actually get out and push them around. But for the most part, when it comes to overall regular traction, pulling out onto a street, doing a curve, the heavy vehicles work best to maintain traction. Just heavy vehicles on the ground. That's why big truckers don't even worry about chains very often. Very, very seldom do they worry about chains, because they're just so heavy that they have pretty good traction as is, simply because of the weight of the vehicle. Okay, so I'm going to wait just a little bit. See, this car next to me just went ahead and went, not even realizing that somebody could be running a light, and I'm pretty sure they're not looking to the left. Got to be careful of that. I've had people walk across in front of me, and then all of a sudden they get to a 3-4 foot high snowbank and they can't go straight over. They actually have to drive down it, or walk down it. So you got to be real careful of that. Just to help melt some of the ice that gets on the window on the windshield wipers. Start slowing down really early. Again, if you're used to a nice, smooth, controlled stop, these stops in these conditions aren't a problem because you're already used to it. But I start slowing down a little bit sooner than normal, even though I usually always do nice, really smooth, controlled braking anyways. Have nice, good following distance. You want your following distance so much that you're not looking at the guy in front of you. See, with me not looking at him, I can look at him, and I can look at people over here. And I can, if I feel comfortable, look in my rear view mirror. Although I don't look in my rear view mirror a whole bunch. See, this guy's going to stop in the middle of the road. That's okay. And he's turning left, which is a real pain. Okay. Be People standing on the edge of the road, you got to be real careful of them. People just act like normal, standing on the very edge of the sidewalk, and then a car slides into them. Nobody in back of me, so I can come to a fairly hard stop, considering these conditions. Now, you have to always say to yourself, you know, I can stop, but can the guy in back of me stop? Like, let's say you're in a big full-size vehicle, 8,000 pounds, 6,000 pounds, with studded snow tires, and you know that you can stop really good. That doesn't mean you should, okay? Because never assume the guy in back of you can stop just as well as you. Same thing as when it comes to pulling out. Never just pull out saying, oh boy, you know what, I got great traction and everything. You should never assume those things. Okay, having winter studded snow tires is just a little bit of a bonus, but for the most part, I drive like I'm driving just a regular car with no studded tires. Nice and gradual braking. So I'm looking to the right where most people would get out their phones and text. I'm looking left, right, seeing if anybody's gonna come. No, I think we're good. When choosing your route, sometimes you might want to choose the route where there's lots of cars, because that way you know that the road is compacted down pretty good. You don't want it super compacted down, because then it's just kind of like ice. And also, the more major roads that most people travel, the more they're likely to take care of. The highway department is more likely to take care of those roads. You can say, well, I'm going to take a side road that nobody will take. That can be very, very, very bad. So don't be afraid to just go ahead and take the route that everybody's taking. Even if you feel like, you know, it's taking forever because there's so many cars and you're stopping at all these lights, don't worry about that. That's why you leave your house early. Always leave your dwelling earlier than you would, wherever that is. I'd like to pull off to the side of the road, but I don't want to get stuck. And a lot of times, another problem is people driving too fast when they shouldn't, and then people driving unnecessarily too slow. Usually when it's fairly fresh snow, like in the morning, there could be 2 inches of totally fresh snow on the ground, and people are driving as if they're on solid ice, and they don't realize that they actually have a lot more traction on that nice fresh snow than on something like this, something that's slushy and starting to get hard packed. But yet a lot of people will see this and they'll say, well, it's not ice and it's not 2 inches of snow, fresh snow, so I should be able to drive a little faster, when actually it's more the opposite. And so you just have to be aware that there are those drivers out there that do that. There's a nice curve. Those signs telling you about the stoplight around the corner are very, very... I'm going to assume that it's going to be a red light. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. But I'd better be safe than sorry. See, this is where weight in the back of the vehicle is very helpful. Like this Jeep, he might think that he's wonderful because he's got four-wheel drive, all-wheel drive. But in reality, a lot of Jeeps do not have a lot of weight in the back. So they are likely to slide from the back. Same with vans, minivans. A lot of times you'll see minivans off the side of the road because people think that, oh, well, they're a heavy vehicle. Not really. Almost all vehicles are heavy in the front because of the engine. They have a 1,500 pound, 2,000 pound motor in the front pushing down those front wheels, and they don't have weight in the back. So always put extra weight in the back. Keep a nice full tank for that extra weight. You also want a nice full tank in case you get stuck or you're stuck in traffic for hours at a time. You don't want to run the risk of running out of gas when you're sitting for 2 or 3 hours for an accident to be cleared.